What's going on, everybody? It's fragged out, swagged out, and you already know why I'm here. You see the lights, you see the hoodie. We're talking about some blue stuff today. But this is not just your regular blue fragrances. This is actually a theme behind it. The fragrances I'm talking about today are brought to you by City Rhythm. I've covered two other fragrances, which are the only two on sale right now. Creative director Niles, and these two fragrances I got at the end of September, early October. I hadn't got around to it because I did have an injury recently, and part of what I wanted to do for testing these fragrances is kind of use them around working out, going to the gym, because these fragrances, much like the other two, that are part of a theme. It falls into a concept that has a theme around it. So it's not just a blue fragrance. It's not just a fragrance for the sake of being blue or for the sake of making a new fragrance, but it falls under a theme, and that theme is that active lifestyle, which is why it's pulse, and it's rhythm, because rhythm, the movements, the pulse that you get when you start working up a sweating, doing everything. So that's the two fragrances, and much like the background in the room and the hoodie I'm rocking, you have the pulse and the rhythm, and you see that blue juice in there. Now, what I find very interesting about what Niles has done with these two fragrances is the juice is blue on both of them, and it kind of supports something I've said a long time ago. And I even got I was in a discussion, not a discussion back and forth, but just explaining myself. I've said before that a lot of the fragrances that people use to go to the clubs, to go on a date, these blue fragrances, whether blue is in the name, the beginning, in the middle, or the end, is some type of blue intense, da 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 da. Not gonna name names, but you know those, the blue fragrances. I use to the gym. Now, if that's what you want to use on your next date or your next outfit, but whatever, it's your money. You do what you want to do. I support it. Just don't come for me because I want to wear blue fragrances to the gym. That's where, in my mind, what I feel smells best in the gym. I don't want to wear one of my ouds but blue seems like it's the right fragrance for the gym. And apparently, me and Niles and I were on the same page with this concept, because both of these fragrances are blue, and they both give off the kind of smell that I feel is best when you're in the gym. It's not overly bouncing off skin to where it's bothering somebody else, but it smells pleasant, and it has that fresh smell that you would expect from something you would wear in the gym, and something that has the name blue and the title of the word blue, but none of these say blue. The blue is in the juice, so it speaks for itself. Now, the first one I will go over is Rhythm. And Rhythm, for me, I'll go over first because, just like anything else, when it comes to twos, you're probably gonna like one more than the other. And with Rhythm, the top note are lemon, bergamot, pink pepper. In the mid, you have cardamom, hedion, and tarragon. And in the base, you have ambroxan, isolate super, benzoin, and skin radiance. Don't really know what skin radiance is, but I'm assuming it's something that as you continue to work out, it kind of radiates off of you so that it doesn't die out. Again, I cannot tell you that I had to work out and this was the effect of it, because I'm just recovering now from, I will be able to try them out in that environment soon. But I will tell you this, I believe Claudia Nairi did use it in that particular type of environment that she was using for HIIT training, and it survived the training, and it still smelled good at the end. And my idea of a fragrance that is for working out or extended activities, physical activities, it needs to last the activity. It doesn't have to be all day. It needs to get me through that activity, back home where I can shower. Because if you're going to the gym and then coming home, getting dressed and going out without showering, you have a different type of problem. You need to get in the shower afterward. But, all right, so I kind of have it here. I really like, so again, I have to choose one every time more than the other. Both I like, but I know that Niles did say he wanted to make one more unisex. I think they are both unisex. Let's start with that. But if you use that lucky centimeter, as I always say, feminine, masculine, I think Rhythm is right in the middle. It's right in the middle. And it's more my style, and we'll get into Pulse in a moment. So I did have to dry it down, but I like the opening as well. So I will throw it right here on the, and so very true to the note opening, lemon, bergamot, pink pepper-ish, but that lemon, that lemon in that opening is a very tart, natural kind of lemon. It's the least synthetic lemon you can think of. It's not a candy lemon. It's not a lemon that's supposed to make you think of lemon and you add the other thing. This is just lemon and bergamot. Very tart, juicy fruit kind of fragrance here. And this is, so you know, you like me, you spray before you leave the house. I use fragrances everywhere, to include the gym, which is why I said the whole blue thing when I go to the gym. This is what you get in the car on your way to the gym, unless you're spraying in the gym, which I don't know, whatever, that's on you. But this is what you get in the car, that burst of very juicy citrus, lemon, bergamot. Again, I don't get too much of that pink pepper in here, but you know, different noses get different things. But once you get to the gym, that cardamom, it's not a very spicy experience, but it has enough spice and earthiness to it, together with that tarragon, which tarragon you find a lot in Fougères also. So you know, you're gonna kind of get that barber shoppy vibe, and you mix it together with that base, which has that ambroxan and that Iso Super, which is very indicative of a blue fragrance when you ask me. And that benzoin, that skin radiance, to make it pop out. I don't think skin radiance actually adds a note or an accord. It's more of what it does while it's on your skin. As you're exercising, as you're engaged in that physical activity, it's supposed to radiate off of you and give it more of a life while you're conducting that particular exercise or whatever you're doing. But that cardamom and that tarragon, so it's not so spicy, more like it adds some spice but earthiness, and that very clean barbershoppy kind of fragrance. So you have that freshness from the citrus up top. You've got that little bit of spice from the cardamom in the mid, but not enough to take away from it being an authentically blue fragrance. That tarragon, and it's giving it this very fresh, barbershoppy citrus, and then you have that ambroxan and Iso Super, which is just all the elements of this very fresh, almost out the shower, citrusy blue with a hint of cardamom, which gives it just a little bit of extra character outside of the blue realm, but still around all these other elements that make it a blue fragrance through and through, which makes it a real good fragrance. Now, if you know about me, you know that I say I'm not a fan of blue fragrances, and you know, I have to be completely open, transparent when I do these things. Blue is not where I shine with fragrances. I actually shy away from it. But as I said in the past, I will use blue fragrances for the gyms. This is what I want to smell like in the gym. This is the one place I want to smell like the blue fragrance. And luckily, in this particular situation, this fragrance is made for this kind of world. So it brings together exactly what I've said. Blue is good for activities that are, whether it's physical activities like the gym, running, CrossFit, what you name it, this is what it's for. It's for those activities. It's not to go out and try to impress. Now, is it nice enough that it smells good and somebody's gonna say something? Yeah, it is a really nice smell, but it's more for those type of activities. So as far as a gym fragrance goes, for me, Rhythm is really top of the list, because not only is it a nice, fresh blue fragrance, but it's made exactly for what I would want to use it for. So I'm not using it outside of the scope of what the creator was thinking. Bang. So now let's get to Pulse. Now the interesting thing about both these fragrances is that the top and the base are the same. So that lemon, that bergamot, that pink pepper up top, and that ambroxan, Iso Super, benzoin, and skin radiance, you're gonna get in Pulse as well. So the big difference is the mid. So in the mid, and even one note that stays consistent is the Hedion. So heliotrope and ylang ylang is what you're gonna get different in Pulse. And like I said, very similar, very similar across, when you look at both fragrances, except like I said, for me, Rhythm is very consistent with the being a unisex fragrance. Pulse, while it is also unisex, that Ylang Ylang, I guess is Ylang Ylang because Ylang Ylang will give it kind of an additional level of kind of tart fruitiness to it, and that doesn't make it feminine. But if you're gonna put it on that bar, it's gonna be on the middle, and then right step one time over to the femme side, and that's where you'll probably that's where I find this when you line them up side by side. So it's the almost identical opening. I don't know if it's the fact that the cardamom kind of covers up the pink pepper in the Rhythm, and here with the exclusion of that spicy, heavier note in the mid, and since it's Ylang Ylang, Hedione, and Heliotrope, here the pink pepper kind of shines a little earlier, so there's nothing really shadowing it. It's probably and there's really nothing dark in this fragrance. Probably the heavier note in this fragrance, so it gets a little more shine in the opening. So you have that kind of lightly rosy, kind of peppery lemon bergamot opening, really nice, very similar to the first one. Then you get the Ylang Ylang, the Hedione, the Heliotrope. In the mid and in the base, again, you get that same ambroxan, the same composition. Again, the difference is that the mid in this one has more of, and this is Pulse again, has more of a tarty, fruitier kind of fragrance that, although I do like Pulse more, I feel like the components in this, with that skin radiance, if the science behind that is exact, and of course, like I said, this is the one thing I cannot speak on in terms of fragrance, is that this feels like this is gonna bounce off of your skin a lot more, with those really sharp, more tart fragrances in the Pulse fragrance. So I don't know the price point for either of these fragrances. It's not on the website yet, so it's not even out for purchase. This is clearly it's past development. It just hasn't been pushed out to the masses yet. Maybe they're waiting to get some more feedback, test it out a little more, maceration, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, two fragrances that if you blindfold sprayed one in one, you'd say this is a blue fragrance, this is a blue fragrance, very blue, very gym, very active, very spray something on to go for a run kind of fragrances. And like I've said in the past, again, I know I'm not a big advocate of blue fragrances, but when the point of the blue fragrance is to support an active lifestyle and do these things that I would use a blue fragrance for, then it makes sense to buy it for that, because now I'm not using a fragrance that was designated to be a club banger. No, I'm using a blue fragrance that was made for me to go to the gym and enjoy it in that environment. Again, City Rhythm, Pulse, both fragrances, blue fragrances, both fragrances very similar in DNA. Personally, Rhythm, if you were going to call one masculine and feminine, Rhythm would be a little more in the middle, left step to the masculine, and Pulse would be a little more middle, right step to the feminine. But interchangeable, it just depends. Do you like that tart fruitiness more? Do you like that mid kind of spicy / Fougere inside mixed with that ambroxan and that bergamot and that lemon? You pick your favorite, or I don't know, buy them both and spray them both. So again, I don't know the price point. I don't know when they're releasing. I don't know if this is like one of those passion projects where you test it out and then you say, hey, I'm gonna just keep the bottle and never hits the market. We shall see. I haven't spoke to Niles in a while, but I like these for what they are. Again, very transparent. If this were supposed to be in the same place where Miami and Manhattan were doing the same thing, this would have been a fail for me. But the fact that they are club or gym fragrances, or active lifestyle fragrances rather. I think they fit the description perfectly. And I'd like to see what the bottle is gonna look like. I think there's a lot they can do with marketing here, so hopefully they have a whole campaign plan for this, because this is when you talk about niche fragrance, this is niche inside of the niche. This is a very, very specific target audience that they're hitting here. So yeah, personally, I think if you see these, if you live that active lifestyle, if you wanted something that is not one of your daily work scents or go out scents, and you need something for the gym, and you want it to not keep spraying the ones you wear for those things, something dedicated to that, these are something to look out for. Of course, price point dependent. If it fits in your budget, I don't know what that is yet, but I guess keep checking out the Instagram page, or check out their website, which is City Rhythm. I have it cityrhythmfragrance.com. So continue to check them out. You know, DM them, hound them if you want to get that sooner. This was a little longer than usual, but it was 2 fragrances and I wanted to do them both justice. Thank you very much if you hung around this long. Once again, this is Fragged Out, Swagged Out, and I'm out.